Hello. Welcome. Hi. Just waiting for some people to join and then we should be good to go. Welcome. How you doing? Just waiting on a couple more people to join so that I can introduce Miss Aaliyah. And we're going to get started. I'm seeing people joining. Yeah. So, you want to introduce yourself, Miss Aaliyah?
My name is Aaliyah.
Don't get shy now.
My name is Aaliyah. I'm 25. What you want me to say?
I want you can start by telling them how we met. Well, not all the details, but telling them a little bit about our relationship, us.
So we met about over a year ago, through one of her children, and we kind of just like clicked because her background was like kind of went hand in hand with my background. I grew up in a foster care system, and a lot of things that I was facing at that time, I needed help with. So she had the knowledge and the experience and everything, and she kind of just took me up under her wing and was like, look, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Whatever you need help with. She helped me, and to this day she's still helping me. And yeah.
So tell us how you ended up in the foster care system.
So I'm gonna go like from the beginning. My mother got killed when I was 3 months by my father, and my mom's side of the family got custody of me. So from 3 months to 8 years old, I was like, they abused me, neglected me, and everything like that. I had a long case of CPS records and everything like that, like investigation and stuff like that, but it didn't get like handled until 2008. So that's when I went into foster care. And from 2008 to 2018, I was in foster care.
So for 10 years of your life, you were in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
So let's touch before, because technically, even though you were in the care of your family, you've been in some type, you haven't been with your mom or your dad since you were 3 months old.
Right.
So tell us how that impacted your life.
Oh man, tremendously. Like, I think I know everybody needs their parent. Everybody needs both parents. And for me, it's one thing to have a parent figure. It's one thing to have all these people saying, I care about you, this, that, and the third. But even as a kid, I was always looking for the attachment of what was mine. So it was just hard. Like, it was hard to decipher who was really for me and who was just trying to play that role. As a child, I don't know. Everybody act like they care about you, but I knew pretty early on that I was a check. I was part of the system, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't, break it down how it was wrong, but I just knew it was wrong.
You just knew it was wrong. So do you feel like you were raised with love, or just because you said, the reason I asked that is because you said you felt like you were a part of a check.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious as to whether what made you say that? What age were you when you arrived at that decision?
So I never really had a decision. When you go into the system at that young age, when you go into that system, in the system at that young age, they really tell you like, you mine. I got the key to your life. You know, like you can't make no decisions. You not even a preteen, so you got to do whatever they tell you to do. And like for me, it was. I say that because I was house to house. I never had like when I say I was in foster care, it wasn't like, oh, I was in one foster home and that was the end all be all. Nah, I had 3 foster homes that I stayed in for a year, and no foster homes that I've stayed in for more than a year. So
hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Turn the light back on and the switch off, the fan off. Okay, sorry about that. I was freezing. Was you freezing?
Yeah.
Because your lips started trembling. And I tried to text him all discreetly, like, come cut the fan off. But I didn't know it was connected all on one line because it's not like that everywhere. But I'm sorry. But okay, so.
But yeah, I didn't get the love. I didn't because I didn't have a stability. Like I said, I only spent a year in a foster home, and I was 3 homes. So for 3 years out of those 10 years, I had stability for just a year. And that was my first foster home, my last foster home.
So your first foster home, you were there a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went to another foster home, wasn't there a long time. And then you went to, ended up with one where you were there for a year. And then your last one, you were there for a year.
Right.
Okay.
So like in between all of those, I was thrown in residentials. I was locked up. I was like, they could do whatever they wanted to do with me. Like I was put on, it was a point where I had 15, 20 pills a day for all of my diagnosis that they was diagnosing me with on black and white. Like I was their property.
So you say you went into foster care at 8, but why? So what led? Okay, because you said the abuse and you went to foster care at 8, but not to say was the abuse that bad, because any abuse is bad. I'm asking you what led to it getting to the point where
it was like, okay,
we got to remove you. So we got to get you out of here.
So like I told you, it was investigations long before then. But I was raised, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And it was like any typical, like when a man abuse a woman, he still say like, I love you. And he do, make sure like it was like that. Like before I was woken up at 4:00 in the morning, I'm crying, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. Don't tell your teachers and this, that, and the third. So, or they're gonna take you out. And then that experience was like made to be scary, or they're gonna take you and it's gonna be worse, this, that, and the third. So for a long time I didn't say anything. But it was one particular day where my grandmother, she had basically like said like, I'm gonna hang her over the Campostella Bridge. I'm from Virginia, and it's a bridge, down the street where I stayed. It was the Campostella Bridge.
Wait, a bridge? Oh, I thought you were talking about like a children's service facility. She was gonna hang you over a bridge?
Yeah, this is before I got in the foster care.
Okay, wait, because I thought you said she's gonna hand you over to campus somebody.
No, so the bridge is called Campostella Bridge. The Campostella
Bridge.
Yeah, and
it's the actual bridge.
It's the actual bridge. And it's on Campostella Boulevard. It's like the area is called Campostella in Virginia. And it's like right down the house from the projects that we stayed in. And she was like, I'm gonna hang her over the bridge. Now, it was a lot of things that was said, and a lot of things was like said and put actions behind it. But something that big, it was like never like just.
It wasn't like the typical when we get home. I'm gonna whoop
it won't like that butt at all.
When you get home, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it wasn't that. It was.
So throughout that whole day, I kind of was like, I knew it was wrong, and I knew I was gonna get hurt, but I didn't know if she was bold enough to do it, because it was always the thing like, she ain't gonna do it in public. She gonna do it behind closed doors, and if she gonna take me to that bridge, somebody gonna see me, right?
Right.
So
you was thinking her actions wasn't gonna match her words,
right? Like it's not gonna be like that at all. Nah, that's not what happened. That whole day, I remember her drinking and everything, And I'll never forget, she had on a green sweater. And she had took my little self to that bridge. Everybody was asleep. And it was like late at night. And it was dark outside. And she took me on that bridge and she hung me. And I was holding on to that sweater for dear life. And I was crying. But it seemed like, even now that I'm old, now that I've been older, just being back there, like as an adult, it still crossed my mind because I got to go over that bridge to get to certain areas. It's like, how the fuck did nobody, I'm sorry, how the heck did
how
nobody?
long you been over here? Because you can cuss after so. You got about 5 more minutes.
But it's like, how the heck did nobody see? It was like nobody was on that bridge at that moment.
Right.
I don't understand. Like, even as an adult, I still can't fathom why nobody was on that bridge. And I could just smell the alcohol off her breath. And I was just crying, begging her. And she let me up. But I knew it was then that, because I'm still getting investigated at school. So it's like, I'm going to die. No more of this. What goes on in this house stays in this house. I gotta live.
And that's what made you tell them at
I went to school. I went to Campostella, my elementary school, and I told them.
Wait, hold on. The bridge was named. Your elementary school was named after the bridge.
Yeah, the whole area is called Campostella. So it's like the school, our neighborhood is right across from the school. The whole street is called Campostella Boulevard, and then you go down the street and you go over the bridge. Like, it's the whole area.
So when you got to school, that's when you disclosed to them what was going on?
Yeah, I told my counselor at the time, Miss Washington, and I think that's what did it, because at the time, before, like during the investigations, I wasn't saying anything. I denied it. Okay. You feel me?
So they were asking you. Well, why were they asking you? Were you going to school?
I was going to school, like bruised, bite marks. They would make me and my siblings or cousins that I was raised to call my siblings. They would make us fight each other. So like with my eye, I was born with 2 eyes, but a lot of the things that happened to me, it was like they knew what they were doing. It was like, okay, I'm gonna make the sibling do it, because if I do it, it's not. If the sibling do it, it'll look like sibling on sibling rivalry. But if I do it, I'm going to jail. So it was like one of those premeditated things. Like,
so tell us what happened with your eye, if you don't mind sharing. Yeah. What happened with your eye?
So me and my oldest cousin at the time, we was walking home from school. Now, she was a part of a lot of the things that I went through. The only difference is, to this day, she doesn't speak up, like Stockholm Syndrome. So she loves her abusers. She don't think it was abuse. So she was going through a lot of the things with me, but we were turned against each other. It was like one of those things where we were trying to win the love. So we did whatever our abusers told us to do, because we're trying to get back in good graces. We're trying to get fed. We're trying to go to sleep. We're trying to, you feel me? We're trying to survive. So she did whatever our grandmother told us to do, because our grandmother didn't like both of us, but she favored her because she was going to do the stuff that I really wasn't bold enough to do. And so me and that sibling, we're light skinned, we're mixed. All of our other cousins and siblings are dark skinned. And it was a race thing. Like, she would tell the dark skinned ones, don't never let them, feel like, don't never make them think that they're better than you, or they look better than you just because they have pretty hair, they lighter than you, this, that, and the third. That don't mean nothing. Like, basically playing us against each other. And none of us is old enough to even know what race and we just, like, we don't know, like, none of this stuff. We just play the hate game against each other. So it was one of those things. So she instilled it into the dark skin so much where it was like, well, they start questioning, well, why do she gotta have curly hair? Why don't I have curly hair? Why don't I have, light skin and stuff like that? So that went on for a while, to where it was like, she made my cousin stabbed me in the eye with the pencil. It was like an accident. And we was walking home from school, and she was acting like she was rubbing her eye and turned around, and it was like she turned around, seen me, and it was like she stuck it in my eye and pulled it out, and it was like it's weird because it hurt, but she stuck it out, pulled it out so fast that it was like it was burning, like the leg was still in there. It was like a blood clot that formed around the leg, but the real abuse came in because I didn't get taken to the hospital till 3 months later. So the damage was already done. The lead had hit a vision nerve, took out the vision, so the eye, was useless. So it just died over time.
So for 3 months, you didn't go to the hospital. When you went to school, they didn't notice that your eye was like that?
They did, but it was like one of those things where it didn't look like this. It still looked like normal. Like even when I got into foster care, I got a picture that I just got from my old foster mom, my very first foster mom. Both of my eyes looked normal. It didn't look like this. It just, what you could see at that time is the fact that it was a blood clot. But nobody but the doctor can see that it's a lid or in the center of that blood clot. So it wasn't like how you see now, and my eyes just, you could tell it's dead. My eyes were still like normal at that time. So
because they were slowly dying.
Right, over time.
They were slowly dying over time.
So
dang.
Yeah.
So it was kind of better for you to be in foster care, right?
Yeah, I always say foster care saved my life for sure. Like if it wasn't for foster care, I would be dead, but foster care changed my life in far worse ways, then I feel like it was the same amount of pain. Like you saved me just to inflict more pain on me just because you could. The system is a crazy place.
So how many foster parents have you had?
I don't know.
How many foster homes have you been in?
I don't know.
That many.
I've been home to home. That's what I can tell you, the 3 that I've stayed in for a year. And that was in the
So why did they move you out of the first one if you were there comfortably for a year?
So it wasn't that I was there comfortably. In that first, you gotta think, I'm this angry 8-year-old that I don't know what the hell's going on in my life right now. And I don't know how to express my feelings. I don't know. That's when the doctors start coming in. That's when, the diagnosis, she got PTSD and stuff like that, because I've been abused for the last 8 years, all my life. So I don't know how to accept love. You get what I'm saying? So my foster parent was older as well. Like she was an older woman. And
so you were just a little bit too much for her to handle.
I think
because of all of the trauma that you.
Right.
Were you in counseling?
I was, but at that time
you weren't ready to receive it.
I wasn't ready I didn't understand anything. Like I was not your typical 8-year-old. I was not what an 8-year-old should be.
So do you think it was because you were still you hadn't learned how to turn off survival mode yet?
No, exactly. And I still loved them. I still wanted to go home. Like I still wanted to go home.
Now that's something that I want to point out to y'all. A lot of people that have been abused a lot of children that have been abused still want to be with their abusers because they don't understand that it's abuse. It was normal to you, right? That was the way you guys lived. Right. And you had not been shown anything else. So that became a part of your normal life.
Right.
So for them to remove you from your normal life and put you with complete and total strangers and not explain to you why you were being, even though you kind of knew why you were being removed, they didn't tell you that it was going to be forever.
It came with a lot of confusion because don't get me wrong, I love that fuck. She was a very, very God-fearing, very but to come from that environment and to be thrown into, I was going to church every Sunday, Bible study, I was loved, I was fed every day, I was, getting taught things that about God. That's the main thing. Like, she was instilling God. So at that age, it was like, I want to know everything. I want to know details, like how I am. I dissect everything now. I want to know the what, why the what is, why you thought like that. I was like that young. So when the Bible and church got introduced to me, it's like, God will never leave you, nor forsake you, and stuff like that. Well, hold on, because you're telling me that what I just went through was bad, and when I hear her talking about it, like, she's very angry at these people that did this to me. But if God, I had questions like, well, if God didn't want me to, hurt or be in
what
pain,
took you so long?
What took you so long? Why was I born? Why did I not have a mom? Why don't I have a dad? Why am I here? Like, I get that these people love me, but like, what is all of this? Like, I had questions that I couldn't verbally articulate. And my emotions and my actions were just the best way that I knew how, and it just was aggression. It was everything. You are what you are instilled, like, was instilled into
you. Was taught to you from 3 months old.
Right. So I only knew how to fight. And I'm not going to say that foster care, I can never just sit there and say it was all foster care. I helped foster care. I was a menace. But that's because that's all I knew how to do was fight. I was in survival mode. And when you sit here and you tell me, like, oh, I got the key to your life and I can lock you up at any given point because I can. Now I'm in survival mode. Now I feel like I gotta attack. I gotta fight. I gotta be defiant. I gotta do this, that, and the third, because you're not finna just keep treating me like a dog. It was a certain age where it was like, to the world, it was like, you too young, you defiant, you too young not to be listening, you too young. But to me, it was like putting my foot down in the way. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let you know that I'm not going for this. You're not gonna have me on 10 pills a day. But if I don't tell you, if I tell you that, you're gonna come back and say, oh, well, you don't take your medication, we're gonna lock you up and make sure that you take your medication. All right, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take that medication. You gonna think I took that medication. I'm gonna go sell this medication. So it was like a domino effect of my behavior patterns. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just doing this just to be doing it. No.
So let me ask you this. You stopped taking the medication at what age?
I stopped taking my medication when I got pregnant with my daughter. Of course, because you can't take those medications when you are pregnant. But after, they wanted me to go right back on it, and that's when I really put my foot down. Not before. It was kind of an if thing. I was still taking it, still like trying to get it off at school, you know what I mean, get it off or with my homegirls and my homeboys around the corner and stuff like that. But I still, like, they was kind of on it. Like, I was still house to house. So this foster mom, she gonna just give it to me in my hand and say, yeah, I gave her medicine, she took her medicine. This foster mom gonna make me open my mouth, lift up my tongue and stuff like that. So,
and as a foster parent, former foster parent, we weren't allowed to make sure you took it. Right. Your foster mom that handed it to you and went on about her business, that was the way that we were instructed that we were supposed to do. So that one that made you look out your tongue and do all of that,
she was given directions from my social worker.
Like, but your social worker was wrong, because that is not what we. First of all, we're not nurses,
and that's where it started. The foster parents was never really the issue, aside of, like, you got those foster moms that foster parents that just do stuff for a check.
Yeah, because I literally had to take a class to be able to pass medication.
The problem came in with the social workers and the actual people that are watching over you, because they are your guardians. That building of social human services, that's your legal address. These people is just your household.
You consider respite. They're your respite. Yeah, because
so they only doing what my legal guardian told them to do. And if my legal guardian know that, like, she got this feeling that, all right, all of a sudden she was against taking medicine, now she's so open to taking her medicine, watch her. So it was those foster parents. Then you had foster parents that was like, I'm not doing that shit.
Right. So you said when you got pregnant with your daughter, you were off the medication as from the time you found out you were pregnant until you delivered her, right?
Right.
How did you manage your behavior then? while you were off the medication?
The same way I was managing it when they thought that I was on the medication.
Come on now. So it really wasn't about the medication. It wasn't
about
helping
the
you.
medication.
It was about.
I knew I was smart enough to know that, one, I'm not supposed to be on all these pills. You're not supposed to diagnose me with all these give me all these pills for all these diagnoses at one time. That's for one. For two, they zombified me. If they got me mentally where they wanted me, they got me where they want me. I won't go on for that.
So why do you think they wanted you there? Because I never understood that part.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. They, from 8 years old to from 8 years old up until the point where I kind of like got pregnant, like before then, I was in my rebellious, my foot, it was that age line, that cutoff line where it's like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do, I'm gonna tell you. Adoption was very much pressed. It was like, can I have you on this campaign? Can I have you interview these people? Can I have you on this commercial? Can we take your headshot? Yeah, I was a money game. I was that. And I couldn't explain it to you how I'm explaining it to you now at 14, 13, 15, 12, 11, but I knew, I felt it, how I'm saying it to you now. I knew that everything was just like every medication, every pill that they put me on was $sign for them. Every campaign that I'm in, that they want me to be that light-skinned pretty girl for their nonprofit organization, a foster care organization, adoption organization, and have all these different people come in my face and tell me how much they're gonna love me, this, that, and the third.
So let me cut you off. Mm-hmm. So let me tell y'all, as a former foster parent, I can tell you this. The children who did not have, and I'm only speaking for Ohio because she was in Virginia, I was in Ohio. So the children who they didn't deem to be problematic, I made $525 a month in stipend for those kids. For the kids that they deemed problematic, I made $980 a month for that kid. So per kid. So if I was the type of foster parent that had a child that it was only making $525 in my house, and then I learned the game of $980 is what I could get, I could report that, oh, this child is doing this child is doing that. I wasn't that type of foster mother. In fact, most of the foster kids that came to me came in at $980 because I didn't really take no low risk foster kids. I always had the high risk foster kids because my experience before becoming a foster mom was because I felt like the high risk kids were mistreated. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, they can't be that bad. Mm-hmm. Some of them I got in my home and they weren't that bad.
Yeah. And I was one of those ones where I promise I wasn't that bad. It was just, I don't care how old I am and how old you are, you not going to treat me like just anything. I was very, like, they call it defiant. I call it standing up for myself. It may not be in a way that was mature or that was respectful to you, but it was in a way that you knew not to play with me. It was to the point where I got a foster mom that I could call you right now to this day, and she'll tell you they took me out of her house because some of the things that they knew were illegal that they were going to do to me, they knew that she wasn't going to go for it. But they also knew that I was taken care of.
I had one that they took out of my house in that same situation because they wanted me to paint the narrative. Mm-hmm. So I used to do meetings. They're called ARD meetings. So I was a parent liaison so I acted between the school district and children's services, because children's services has a biased opinion. So Ohio implemented this thing where they had to have a neutral party. Mm-hmm. So I got a good social worker. My social worker that worked with the kids that was in my house, her name was Cherie. Cherie was the bomb. You hear me? Mm-hmm. So she wasn't one of those ones that wanted to like prep me before we went in. She let me go in and advocate for her kids. Right. But then I had some social workers Dad was just like, when we
You're
go in
just-
here,
you're
this is
just
what you're
where
gonna
she-
tell these
yeah,
people,
this is where-
and don't change the narrative,
You're
because
just where she lays her head. You have nothing else to do.
that was what they wanted. And so when I got in there, and I would be hearing the things that they would be saying, and then they would turn to me and was like, "So how's he at your house?" I was like, I don't know the person that y'all just talked about, because I haven't seen any of that.
And you know how they have to have the family meetings every year for,
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
I always had at least 2 people saying that. At least 2. Now I didn't make it easy for to have about 4 or 5 people saying that, because everybody got a different version of me. My caseworker that came in was on my casework and actually cared about me, and she seen me on a week-to-week basis, and she actually spent time with me and got to know me as a person, and I wasn't a check to her. She was one of those people that said, if y'all got to know this girl, y'all will understand that the version that y'all get is because of how y'all treat her and how y'all talk to her, and how I talk to her, and how I respect her as not as a child, as a foster child, but as a human being. Yeah, I'm going to get the version of me that y'all wonder where it is from everybody, from her, when it comes to y'all, because y'all not going to get that. That's like any relationship out here in this world. I'm not going to respect you. Everybody gets a different version of me. The version that you get of me, my mom not going to get of me. The version that my mom get of me, my dad's not going to get of me, because at the end of the day,
when she says her mom, she's talking about her foster mom that was there for her, that is still there for her. Because those of y'all that came in late, how she winded up in this environment is because her mom was.
My mom was killed by my dad when I was 3 months. My biological mom was killed by my biological dad when I was 3 months.
So let me ask you this: when they took you to, do you remember the day that they came and got you? What it? Tell me about that, and then I'm going to tell you why I didn't allow what you're getting ready to tell them to happen.
So, the day that I got taken, it was February 19, 2008. I had went to school and I told them about the bridge thing. I came home, they said, don't say anything, act like everything, normal. And I didn't believe that shit. I did not believe these people could come get me. So when I went home, and I know the drill. Like, I don't have a bed. I don't have, you get what I'm saying?
Wait, you didn't have a bed at your house?
No. I didn't have a bed. It's 5 girls.
But wait, you was in this house from 3 months old to 8, and you didn't have a bed?
No, that was like, it was part of the punishment. It was part of the abuse. Like, I was made to stand up, sleep in the corner. If you know how you doze off, your head hit the wall. If I'm dozing off, like, it was a problem. Now, if she dead asleep, then I could, get some rest in. But if she wake up and I'm leaning against her bookcase, then it's a problem. If I'm, if it's cold and I'm stretching my shirt out, if she tell me to sit down, she'll tell me to sit down. If I'm sitting down and I, stretch my shirt out because it's cold, she wake up, see I'm stretching my shirt out, I get hit in the back of the head.
Because you stretching out the clothes that she bought for you. Right. Okay. All right. So back to them coming to the house.
Yeah. So I know the drill. I go straight in from school. I get in the corner and face the corner. First, I gotta take my book bag, put it in the closet, take my shoes. All of us gotta do that. Then I just go sit in the corner. And this particular day, she was asking all of us. She asked all the girls. She said, "What y'all want to be when y'all grow up?" The energy was good this day. You get what I'm saying? But I know what the hell I just did in school, so I'm really scared. I don't mind coming home sitting in the corner because I'm just want to shut up. I didn't went against the grain today, and I know that shit. So, she asking everybody what they wanted to be. Everybody giving their answers. She's like, "Oh yeah, I can see that." Da 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 da. And then she actually asked me, and I'm in the corner, and because she asked me, because I was still like wanting acceptance, wanting like, you get what I'm saying. So she asked me, I got excited. Oh, this is my chance. Like, I want to impress her. I want her, like, I'll do anything for these people to actually love me and treat me right. So she asked me, I turned around. I said it with so much, like, passion. I had been thinking about it for a while. I was like, I want to be a lawyer. And, like, I was happy to say it. And I remember she said, you'll never be that shit. And it broke me. Oh, girl, it crushed the shit out of me. I didn't want to be a lawyer no more after that. I turned around, faced the corner, and a tear dropped after that. Like 2 minutes after that, the people came knocking at that door. There were 2 social workers and a whole bunch of police officers. It was daytime, like 3:30, 4 o'clock after school. And they was telling me to go get my shoes. And it was like a lot of confusion. I'm thinking they just finna take me. Like, I'm not understanding. You know, I'm just knowing what they told me.
But you also have the fear of what she told you. If you go to school and tell them people, they're going to put you in foster care and it's going to be way worse.
And so,
dang.
So I went and got those same shoes that I just had took off. And they asked me, did I have any clothes and anything? I was like, no, because I literally didn't. I didn't have I had my school uniforms at that time. We had red shirts, black pants, and I had like 3 pants, 2 shirts, and the shoes that I had, and they were in a plastic bag under my sister's bunk bed. So I went and got that, and I got in the back of this white social worker car, and they came in. They took me to the McDonald's right there by Campostella Elementary School, and I went over that Campostella Bridge to get to social services. And I stayed in social services all night till my foster mom, Miss Lamb, came and got me at it was like 11 o'clock at night.
So what did you put your clothes in? What did the social worker bring for you to put your clothes in?
My foster mama told me.
No. What did the social worker, when she came to your house, what did she bring for you to put your belongings in?
Nothing. I just had that clear white plastic bag, like the cheap plastic bag, big garbage bags.
So let me tell you why I asked that, because I wanted you to say that part about garbage bags. I was known as the foster parent that did not allow you to bring these kids to my house in no motherfucking garbage bag. And I asked the one social worker, and this is how I got labeled that. I said, imagine you taking these kids from their home. You taking them from their house, the house where their mom is, where their dad is, where their siblings is, and you telling them to get everything that they own, that they can pick up as fast as they can and put it in this little black garbage bag.
Why you standing over?
Why you standing over?
You on the time schedule?
Because you on a time schedule. I said, how would you feel if that were you? How would you feel if somebody did that to your children?
And the thing, the most disappointing thing is the fact that they don't feel. And I tell people to this day,
because it's a job to them.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, any job that you have when it comes to any type of human services, any type of adult services, kids services, anything, if you sitting up there and you are representing a government as a government official or something of that nature, school teacher, I don't give a damn if you was a judge, you have to have a heart for it, because I done been drugged through that system so much that if I see somebody walking down this street right now abusing their child, I will beat the hell out of them before I call CPS. Nothing in my heart will ever say call CPS on these people, because I know it's going to be worse for that child. Because I know that the mass majority of those people that's in those job fields, in that job title, is the same people from the same hoods that I come from, that I was raised, that I was abused out of. Those are not people that have the heart for that. You can't have a heart for, you can't have the mind for money when it comes to stuff like that, because the money will never, ever be valuable or add up to the work that you have to put in, to the love that you have to put in, to the sacrifices that like that is an overwhelming job. And indeed,
a foster parent was very overwhelming.
It is. It spills over into your family life. It spills over into what you've already built before that foster child had came in. But when I say you have to have a heart for that shit, you have to have a heart for it to the point where you don't inflict the same pain and heartbreak that child's already went through. Once you get to your
right, you just escaped it, and now you right back in it. You just escaped it.
And that was what the thing is. Like, I can have somebody say soon as I hit their front door, it's like, oh yeah, you safe here, this, that, and the third. But as soon as you get what I'm saying, something we bump heads as, you reminded me of where I came from. Oh, you wouldn't be nowhere if I didn't let you in my house and this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
That is not the mindset that you sit here, and that's why I fought a lot of adults and a lot of foster parents. And I had a foster parent tell me, because she read my case file and read what was in black and white before I came to her house, and she exposed something about my mom's death and her autopsy at the age of 10 years old that I wasn't supposed to know.
What?
I wasn't supposed to know. And she said it in a nana and a boo boo. That's why da 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 da. And I went berserk. Do you know where they had to put me? They had to lock me. No.
They didn't put you in residential?
No, I told them that I was gonna kill that lady that night. And I meant it. That's how angry I was. Because she knew my button. That was my button then. It was a lot of things that, like, but for an adult to tell me that you could call me mom and it took me so long to call you mom, and you sit here and say that, and your husband is restraining me, and you say that, I went crazy. Even her husband looked at her, because now he got to put more force into restraining me and stuff. Like, I went crazy that night.
So, and because you had been cutting up in all the other foster homes, they believed her and not you.
Oh yeah. I look crazy in black and white.
So you said that you have a daughter. Do you want to talk about that or no? Are you comfortable with talking about that?
I think to a certain extent.
If you get uncomfortable, we can stop.
Okay.
So tell us about was this your first love that you had a baby with?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that a little bit.
So it was my little escape, you know. They called me Harriet Tubman. I was always running away.
I ran away a lot too. We ran away a lot for different reasons. But so let's refrain from using the M word.
The N word.
M word. What happened to your mom? Let's refrain from using that.
Okay.
Because we don't want them to. Even though I have adults only, I did restrict it to children not be able to watch it, because I don't think that this is something that children really need to see.
And the K
word. Certain words that we can't use.
And the K word.
Yep, and the K word.
All right.
So, and the N word.
Yeah. Well, I don't think nobody need to be saying that anyway.
You could just use the word unalive.
Okay.
But we've already passed that section.
Right.
Okay.
So I met my baby daddy when I was like 13. I was in alternative school.
Wait, what is alternative school?
Not public school. So like, because I was fighting so much. Okay, so I didn't go to public school after 3rd grade.
Okay.
I was fighting so much before 3rd grade, but my last straw was I was in an all-white class, and I felt like I was being like, I wasn't the type to just tell the teacher. And even when I tried to tell the teacher, I found out the teacher was watching. Like, you still letting this girl pull my hair and stuff like that. So it was one of those moments I picked up the computer monitor with the actual screen on top of it, and I threw it at her head. She was unconscious. They told me I couldn't go back to public school, and I never go back to public school.
In the 3rd grade?
Yeah. So that's why I was in alternative school, but it wasn't always that high level of aggression. It was just, that was early on, and I thought that was me, you know, being a young foster kid. I mean, that young 8-9-year-old didn't know what the heck, you know, how to express herself. As I got older, it was just like, man, it got worse. But so I was in alternative school, and he was just we had a mutual friend, because I grew up hanging around boys and stuff like that. I didn't really gravitate towards females. And his brother, I knew him first because my baby daddy came in the middle of the school year.
To the alternative school. So y'all went to school together.
Right.
Okay.
So we rode the same bus together, was in the same class though. And me and his brother had already like, been cool and everything, was, hanging out after school with his friends and stuff like that. So when I met my baby daddy, it was just like one of those, oh, I see him. Like he see me. I tripped up the stairs on the school bus, seeing him and stuff like that. I don't know. I was just stupid. I was stupid. I don't even know. Like,
I don't think it was stupid. I think it was just young, naive.
Yeah.
What did they say? Young, dumb, and full of bubble gum.
Right. And at that time, it was like I was still a virgin, but like I wasn't like checking like for sex and stuff like that. But we got close. Like he gravitated. We trauma bonded.
Been there. Okay.
He was the only boy around a whole bunch of females. His mom and everything was a single mom, just trying. And she didn't really know a lot about my situation because we was just being too fast. He's part of the gang and everything. So it's like his fast life became my fast life. It was my escape. And we were just Velcro at the hip, like inseparable. And his friends became my friends. His protection was my protection. Like everybody knew us. Like we was inseparable. So once my mom realized that, we started doing like stuff that could get us in a lot of trouble, and we was always gone. So my mom, his mom, when I say my mom, is really his mom, but my mom came back. That was one of those moments where, it's like she set me down, like, what's your story? Like, cause I see y'all always leaving, what y'all got going on, blah, blah, blah. So I told her my story and why I was always at her house and why she was always feeding me. And it was one of those things where it was like she knew she couldn't keep me, but she wasn't gonna put me up.
Right. Because you were still in the system at this time, so she knew you weren't supposed to be there, but she also, I'm sure you've already told her what was going on in your life.
And this particular foster mom that I was staying at, it was one of those like bottom of the barrel, not really bottom of the barrel, just bottom of the barrel for me, not what I needed. Maybe for those, non-risk kids, but I don't need the type of foster parent that I had at that time. Because it kind of felt like the playing on her daughter against me type thing. So yeah, I was always going. I was running away. With foster care, wanted to know where I was going and stuff, and I was just never know what your left hand, never let your left hand know what your right hand got planned. And what I had going on in my personal life was so different from what I had going on in my foster life. It looked like Hannah Montana. I had the best of both worlds. Like for real, like I was a delinquent, don't get me wrong, but I was no dummy. Like I was so smart. I was smart and I played dumb. And I think that's why a lot of things that foster care did with me, as far as like playing their hand, as far as like they do about my daughter and stuff like that, is because like I played that game too well, where it's like I didn't let them know.
So what game did they play with your daughter? Like, so did you have a good pregnancy?
No. All my whole pregnancy, all I kept hearing like was, now I had my daughter on purpose. Let's state that. I don't think it's cute. I was a kid having a kid, but when I sat down with my baby daddy, it was like one of those conversations. What do you what do you think gonna change your life? And for both of us, it was like, I don't like kids, but if I had a kid, we gonna calm down, like things will change. So we had a kid, and the main reasoning to give that child everything that we never had, like, to love somebody the way we never been loved. And it sounds so crazy, but that was logical for us. That was like the life that we was living. It was like we knew that we was going to either be dead or in jail. So what's gonna put flame up under us in order to help us think before we act? a child, something that we don't need, but that's going to change us. And
you wanted unconditional love.
Yeah.
And that comes with a child, right?
Right. Okay. So it was like, yeah, we just gonna make our own family then. We finna give somebody everything we never had, do it on our own. We don't, we ain't gonna do it how we was raised. Okay, cool. So so I get pregnant. Mind you, I'm getting pregnant while I'm on the run. I'm gone for months at a time. I will be gone. So when I come back, when you come back from being gone on a run, they gotta take you, get your physical and stuff like that. Make sure you're good and reinstate you all the way back in.
It's like the first day that you went into foster care, you gotta go back to the hospital. They gotta do the whole physical exam. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So same thing. Every time you run away and you come back. Right. I used to tell my foster kids, don't you know how you felt that first time when they went there and you felt violated because you're moving from your home where somebody is mistreating you or whatever the reason you moved from to go move to this hospital where everybody finna really be in your business. So when you run away, you got to start from scratch.
Me personally, after a certain age, I didn't care. It was just, it was MO. It was like, all right, let me go back, turn myself in to these people. They ain't gonna find me anyway. It was one of them.
Okay. So you went back to the hospital to have your examination.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, I have been trying this whole time, but every time we would go to the store and get food, because he would cook for me and stuff like that. We'll go to the store, he'll get food and stuff, and I'll look at the pregnancy tests and look like, you think? You're like, nah, mind you, we don't even know about, if we doing it during ovulation window, we don't know what the heck we doing.
Y'all was just experiencing.
We was just experiencing being some dum-dum. Some kids having kids, not even supposed to be doing it, but yeah, so it's I don't think we should be doing it. So so by the time I get back in foster care, I go, get my exam. My caseworker, she was like, yeah, her social worker wants to get a pregnancy test and make sure that that she actually asked specifically for the pregnancy test. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I would have known by now. Even though I know I'm trying, well, I'm not pregnant. That's just not. It's gonna be negative. That doctor came back and the doctor was like, yeah, he was so sad. He was like, yeah, so you're pregnant. And I was like, I thought he was playing. I was like, stop playing, because his aura kind of reminded me of my funny math teacher at the time. I was like, stop playing, you playing. He was like, this is not, I can't play about stuff like this. This is my job. I was like, oh, you dead ass. You serious? I'm pregnant. So I text her dad. I was like, I'm pregnant, but I can't tell your mom, because I love his mom. I knew his mom was crazy. I seen his mama got down on chasing down the street with a whole metal pole, because he won't doing what he was supposed to be doing. She gonna play about her son. So I knew that, and I had a good relationship. I loved her, so I didn't want to kind of tarnish that. I didn't want her to be like, oh, you fast and got pregnant by my son. That ain't my son. I ain't want to go through none of that. Mm-hmm. But thank God, man, to this day, that is not the lady that I have as a grandmother for my child. But I was like, yeah, so you got to figure this out. But the whole time when I turn myself in, he gets locked up. So it's a week or two where it's he's not responding to me, and now my hormones is jumping and everything like that. And I'm thinking
you thinking he abandoned you?
Yeah,
because you're pregnant,
right? And
okay,
and yeah, so he ended up, getting out. As soon as he get out, he just apologized, because that's not the relationship that we had for me to even think like that. I was just past, thoughts and stuff like that coming resurfacing and stuff. But it was one of those things where he was very mature for his age, and that's what attracted me to him, because he was in the street life, and he didn't act like a teenage boy at all. He gave grown man, he gave 19, 20 compared to my age, and he was a year younger than me at that time. So it was different. It was a different type of excitement. So he was like, yeah, all right, we're gonna be good, we're gonna be fine. He ended up telling his mom, and his mom just embraced me. She never for a second disowned my child, or anything. The only reason why it was a bad pregnancy was because foster care figured out that I had another life, like a happy life, and then they're watching my social media at that. That's not registering to me that they're gonna watch my social media. So I'm just living my best life, and I'm posting stuff about me
because you're happy about your pregnancy. You're excited.
I'm excited, and I don't care who got to say anything about it, because my mom and my daddy ain't here. I ain't got to answer to nobody. Even when it came, even I met my real dad at this moment.
You had already met your real dad by now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like maybe a month and a half before, because I didn't know that I was pregnant. I was trying to get pregnant, and I had met him before I found out that I was pregnant. And after I found out that I was pregnant, because he didn't know, he was very protective of me. He didn't know that I reached out to my dad. I didn't tell him because I didn't want him to like stop me from seeing him.
Your boyfriend didn't know?
No, he didn't. It was going to be one of those things where if you going, I got to go.
Right.
And I didn't want that. So I didn't tell him. So when he found my dad, I didn't know nothing about it. He reached out to my dad and was like, yeah, like very respectful, like, hey, I went through her phone and I seen that you guys were trying to build your relationship back, and I'm not against it. I just want to introduce myself, let you know that I'm her boyfriend. We do have a child on the way. And he was very respectful in the way that I ain't never seen him before, because this is a street nigga. Like, I mean, this is a street guy. Like,
right.
He's rough around the edges. And from what he know that this man did, in our conversations, he don't respect him. But in this moment, he's really trying to respect him. And my sperm donor replied back and was like, "Thank you for taking the best thing that ever happened to me again." So that was the downfall of our first, me and my sperm donor's first, fall off. This. Don't blame him for that. That's you.
So you had the baby.
Mm-hmm.
You were still in. So that's, you didn't go back to your dad at that time. They didn't let you go with your dad. They kept you in foster care for your whole pregnancy.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to even. The foster care didn't know that I met my dad. My personal life was so different. Like, they didn't know nothing. Like,
they said what they saw on social media.
Right, because I knew that this man could go back to jail. He's not supposed to see me until after I turn 18. I'm only 14. Well, I'm only at this point 15. So if they know that he's close to me, something gonna happen to him. That's not gonna happen. Y'all not gonna do that again.
So you were 15 when you had your baby?
I was 16 when I had her.
15 when you got pregnant, 16 when you had her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you had her, was your foster care life better? Did it get better?
No. So you remember when I was like, they took me out of that foster parent house that was good to me because they knew what they were planning to do, and she wasn't gonna go for it. When they found out I was pregnant, they took me out of her house. Because I went from, now you gotta think, so she started off as respite.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I'm staying with the foster parents that I'm running away to my baby daddy to,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to be there. I'm fighting her. You get what I'm saying? Fighting her daughter and everything. So they're putting me in respite across the city with the good foster mom. While I'm doing respite with her, I'm like, look, can you tell them to transfer me? Because, like, can you take me in your home? Now, she wasn't a foster parent for the city that I was a foster child to. She was
just respite.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all that don't know what respite is when a foster parent has a foster child in their care and they need to go on a family vacation and they're not allowed to take the foster care, or if they need a break from the foster kid, that's when they go to a respite home. The respite home, they are foster parents as well. It's just that they don't keep kids full time most of the time.
Right.
Y'all want to tell me my shirt came unbuttoned?
Well, I didn't even see.
You didn't see because it was on this side. They seen it. But yeah, so that's what respite is. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna tell you, the reason why they removed you is because you got pregnant. Even if you wouldn't have been in, if you would, whether you would have been in the foster home that you were currently in that you didn't get along with or in respite, they removed you because they felt like the respite or the foster home that you were in weren't watching you. So it wasn't because they knew what they were going to do.
Okay, so you gotta. Okay, so I'm on the run. I'm going back and forth to the foster mom. My baby daddy stayed literally around the corner from the foster home that I stayed in. So while I'm running away, I'm going back and I'm having problems in this actual real foster home. So the time is the time. I got pregnant in the
foster home.
The bad foster home.
Yeah, they were gonna remove you out of that home regardless because they failed to protect you.
Right. I begged that lady to take me. They were not gonna move me out that lady home at all. It was too long. We was fighting and everything. Like everything that I knew to do to get out of any other foster home, it didn't work in this one. It did not work. I don't know why, but it didn't work. So while I'm going to respite, I don't know that I'm pregnant. But
gotcha. Okay.
I don't know that I'm pregnant, but it's like all of this is happening on a time scale where it's like it's at the same time, but it's periodically. Like it's like I done ran away, but I done ran away for a month, and I done came back, and now I'm getting the whole physical, but I still know I'm still in the middle of this foster home and going to respite
to your respite home. Okay, home. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So it wasn't until so that foster mom is on, they're trying to calm me down now because I don't know that I'm pregnant until I get to this hospital. But now that I'm pregnant, the foster mom is the respite person is the first one that knows outside of my caseworker that was with me. So she's talking to me. She's a mother. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't keep running away. You can't keep da 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 da. Like, why can't you get along with your foster mom? I've been telling you this whole time. Please get these people. Talk to my social worker. Allow them to let me come into your house. And she was a no nonsense. She was like, would they tell me about you? I don't get that from you. But if I get any signs, I will talk to them. But if I get any signs that the person that they tell me that you are, the problem child that they tell me that you are, you're that child in my household, you're going to get put out. And she was like, up front. I told her, you ain't got to worry about it because it was a different, I knew the type of love that I needed. I knew the type of people that I needed. I knew
and you felt like she could give you that.
I knew that she could give me that. I seen the examples, her foster kids, you get what I'm saying, that she already had were examples and stuff like that. So it was like, you got to get me up out of here because now I'm pregnant and now me and my child finna be a part of this. And I already know the crazy stuff. I just don't know how far they can go with their hand and playing their hand. So, but I knew that once I knew I was pregnant, it was like, okay, get me out of this home. I'm changed. Okay. If I'm here, I'm okay. I'm working on myself because you're going to hold me accountable and I have nothing else to fight for. You get what I don't have to fight on my own because this lady going to fight for me. You get what she going to fight for me and mine. And she don't have to because, in foster care, you're their responsibility and your child is your responsibility. Right. Being having a child at that young age, they knew that lady was not going to lead me astray. First thing first, you had a baby, she was taking me to go file. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. They knew not to have me around where I could get the information that I would have been beneficial for me. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So they wanted to remove you from her home so that she couldn't teach you how to be a parent and how to make sure that you had custody of your child.
Because by the time that I actually got fully placed in her home, no longer as a respite, everybody knew that I was pregnant. I got pregnant over there, but while she was still a respite care provider, and before I found out that I was pregnant, I got drunk with one of her foster kids. When I got drunk with one of her foster kids, I got drunk to where they had to walk me up her stairs. Now, as a foster parent, you have to let the social workers know.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
You're mandated to report it.
Exactly. Now, her foster kids are their city. I'm city of Norfolk, which was a whole different city, a whole different, whole different thing. So her social worker is doing what they supposed to be, coming to see her every month like they supposed to, on her case. You get what I'm saying? Supporting her, being a social worker like they're supposed to. Norfolk don't do that. They hadn't been coming to see me. Like, it was like months where they won't come to see me at all. It wasn't like doing their job at all. So that was during the time that I was going through all of this: respite there, foster parent here, baby daddy here, streets here, getting pregnant, blah, blah, blah. No social worker was coming to actually, sit down like they were supposed to. So she reported it to the agency that I was a part of, and the higher up, which was the head of the foster care floor.
Mm-hmm.
I got removed for that about 4 or 5 months into her house.
Because she reported
it then when it happened.
To her agency and to your agency.
And to my agency.
But the drinking, I see what they did.
They wasn't doing their job, so they ended up putting her, she had to come sit us down. She was like, I could tell it was only me. She set me and her other foster child down because we were all close like that, and she knew. But her foster child, she could come back. But me, I was a different agency. When she set us down, I could tell like her whole aura. Like, she was trying to take so long. She's not that type of person. She gonna tell you like, all right, da da da. My social worker on her way, and then she know my mouth. Look, sit down. This lady say something crazy to you, you're gonna have to hold your tongue. Don't sit here and disrespect this lady right here in front of me because I'm trying to help you grow. Okay, cool. This particular moment, she was like hurt. Like, you could tell something was bothering her. Okay. I'm like, what is it? And
you 5 months pregnant at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was pregnant. I knew what I was having. I knew she was a girl.
Okay.
And child, she sat us down, and the way her aura, I just said it. I said, I don't know what you about to say, but I'm not leaving this house. And that's when she was like,
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, they're gonna come. I said, well, they can come. They're gonna have to drag me up out this house because this now why? So I'm mad at this point because the same thing that I'm used to is like, soon as I get my piece of happiness, it get ripped off. Like so now I'm mad. Now it's like I'm banging on the tables and stuff, and she can like, why? I'm asking why. Like, what the fuck is all of this for? Everything good. Like, I'm doing good at school. My grades been turned around. I'm not fighting. I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm good. Like, what the fuck is all of this going on? She ended up saying that because they wasn't doing their job, she's under investigation, and she been reported it. She had, paperwork and everything saying that she reported it and everything, but it was something fishy, and she knew that it was something fishy. Even in that moment, she just couldn't put her hands on it. But she was like, she's under investigation now because
and when you're under investigation, they remove everybody from your home until the investigation is complete. If the investigation comes to be unsubstantiated, then they'll put the kids back into your home. If it becomes substantiated, then you lose your foster parent license, depending on how bad the situation is.
Yep.
So it became unsubstantiated because the kids got to come back. So
her other one that she already had
from the other county,
she left, but she was able to, like, the whole investigation came back inconclusive. Like, she's still a foster parent to this day. She has a whole newborn in her house now. But
wow.
But I never went back, and I remember they drugged me out that house. I fought to get up out that house in a way that I probably shouldn't have as being pregnant, but it was like being taken out of like, if I was your child, like, and you raised me the way you were supposed to raise me, it's like somebody just dragging you up out your house, like, and you don't,
like I said, put you in a black garbage bag,
right?
And you don't understand,
right? And I was one of those kids with her, like, everything that was at that foster mama house stayed there. Like, she got me all, like, the money didn't mean nothing, because that $170 that I got a month, she spent more than that on my hair every 2 weeks. You get what I'm saying? She spent that more in gas trying to get me from one side of the where she lived to school, because they ain't transfer my school, to drive me all the way to the other side, 45 minutes away. You feel me? Like, it was never about the money for her. Like, I was her child. To this day, I call Mom Bridget, I'm her child. You feel me? Like, that's just how it is. But she's even able to, like, say, like, now looking back on everything,
so you got moved where at this point?
I got moved to Norfolk, to a foster parent.
So they put you back in the county that you were supposed to be in. Okay.
And they put me with a foster parent that I had that was respite when I was like 8 years old. I remembered it. And she was like a little evil little thing. And they put me with her. And her name was Miss Stallings. I'll never forget it. And she helped them people ruin me. She helped them people break me down. Like, she would, sell your soul, anything. You want somebody, you don't know nobody that'll just do anything they told for some money, you tell them no, they're gonna pay. That's her. If you was gonna put money in her, we
gonna call her Miss S. We're not gonna say her name again.
Miss S. Miss S. Miss S and her husband was a trip. They would see, like, because I was.
So wait, because you already said her name, you can't tell us what she actually did. Let's just move to the next point of saying.
Okay.
Okay. How they start where they removed when you delivered the baby? Let's start from there. When you delivered your child, how was your life then?
Oh, no. So you know what? I'd have been too many false homes. That wasn't right after Miss Bridget. I went to Chesapeake after Miss Bridget with Miss P.
Okay.
Miss P was the same type of way Miss Stallings was, but more on a high sedity level, like a throw your rock, hide your hand type of level. Like, oh, I'm here for you in your face, but let me go talk to the social workers and whispering behind your back type thing. So it was her. And that's where I had Chantel. And throughout my pregnancy, like the ending of my pregnancy, because that's where it was, like the ending of my pregnancy with her, she just wasn't in tune with her kids, like her foster kids at all. Like, she would be gone with her man all day, and it'd just be frozen hot dogs in there. She'd expect us to be eating the frozen hot dogs all day and just be gone, come back. Her house supposed to be spick and span and stuff like that. Like, she expect us to be, because we were teenagers, and you get what I'm saying? She was just the guardian over the household, basically.
She was the overseer, and y'all was supposed to be mature enough to do what y'all supposed to be doing.
And it was my homegirl, but my foster sister at the time, that kind of spoke up on that kind of put the flame up on her. But she ended up leaving before me, and she had a son. She ended up leaving before me, but we, still close to this day. And I had to leave her house because they did stuff that they knew that I was going to go crazy about. But to me, I was aware, like, it was like, okay, I cannot act certain ways because they're looking for a reaction. Throughout my whole pregnancy, I heard, oh, we can take your child. You doing good. In the same breath, like, oh, you doing good. Your grades done changed. Like, you ain't fighting no more. You staying out of trouble. You doing good. But we can still take your child. Like, what? What the hell? You like? I'm just letting you know. Like, we can still take your child.
So basically, stay on the path you on, or we will take your child. Yeah. But they were toying with you.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Like, it was like, yeah, because we could do that type thing. Like, and then
did they?
Yeah.
They took her from you.
Mm-hmm. So, like, it was like.
Did you get a chance to bond with her at all?
Oh yeah, my baby know who I am now. Chantel knows who I am now. Like, I had her for 6 months before, she was taken, And after that, I seen her for till she was up 2 years old. After 2 years, I haven't seen her since she was 2. She's 9 now, but she knows me.
So you had her in your physical custody for 6 months, and then where did she go?
So she went into a foster home, people that she's still with now that adopted her.
So she was removed from your care and placed into foster care herself at the age of 6 months. Did they give you their reason that they removed her?
Their reason was, it was multiple different reasons. It changed as time went on. Like each summons that I got for court was for a different reason, and the whole case turned out to be about 5 years long.
So you fought for 5 years.
Hell yeah.
So what was the original reason that they actually removed her from the house at 6 months?
The original reasoning, they were saying that it was like I was doing stuff like having sex in front of Chantel. How were you doing that if you were in foster care? I was sleeping with Chantel I was sleeping with Chantel in the bed with me and causing, they was telling me to stop sleeping with her because, you know, like stuff can happen to you, baby.
Like STIs, yeah. Right.
And I understood that, but it was like it was so forced that it felt like they didn't want me to get attached to my kid. It's like, looking back on it now, I could see the big picture, but in the moment, it was just weird stuff that I just couldn't put my finger on. It was like, these people weird, but I couldn't see the big picture that they had planned. The bigger picture, it was deeper than what people can fathom.
So, because I've done that. I know a lot of people that have done that, but because you were in foster care, you were not supposed to sleep with her in the bed with you at all because she had a bassinet or a crib.
Right.
And they wanted you to put her in that bassinet and crib every night. And you felt like that was your opportunity to bond with your child.
Yeah, not even just that.
Not knowing, because you were 15, you didn't feel like that was a safety issue. You thought it was a bonding issue.
Right, because my sleep, my awareness, when I became a mom, it was like any little thing, I was on it. Like I slept with her inside, I made her little pallet and stuff like that, but Chantel wouldn't have it no any other way. And I'm still in high school. I gotta get up 5:30, have her to daycare at 6, and get on my bus at 6:30. So I'm still tired. And if my daughter want to go, she used to go to sleep with her hand on my cheek, and that would be the only way. Like, she has to be close to me. So I can't keep waking up. And then the pacifier, her dad got her hooked on a pacifier, even though we agreed not to when we was in the hospital. So now I'm stuck with the hospital pacifier. I gotta,
be close, keep your finger over there, try to sleep through, because you gotta get up, and this baby want to wake up in the middle of the night because she don't know no better. And I gotta my finger in the little green pacifier.
I was crying. I used to be like, Chantel, I used to like, please, baby, I'm so tired. And she just like look at me. And then I realized that's when, because from the beginning it was like no. So once they explained, it was like, okay, I understand. Like, that makes sense. Like, and then I understood that I used to have to get sleep studies and stuff. So that's probably the best thing, not to sleep with Chantel in the bed. But as time go on, you start to realize and you go, like, you changing, like I'm changing my
and nobody was coming in to help you with her in the middle of the night. So yeah, you put her in a bed with you.
Right. So I did that, and I was still conscious. Like, I would, I think too deep about stuff. So I put a whole bunch of all my body pillows around my bed and stuff like that. I made sure that she was inside where the wall is, and I was outside so she couldn't like roll or nothing, but I still put all the pillows and stuff. And it was just like that. So it was better. Like, I slept through the night. Like,
right,
I slept through the night with that finger in the pacifier. It might have slipped a little time, but all I had to do was adjust my hand, and my mom was good. Like, she had her hand on my face, and pacifier was good. She was straight. So I realized that in court, though, while I'm fighting this, that's used as evidence against me. They have pictures of me sleeping with my baby. Like the cutest pictures too. They were so beautiful. But they were used against me. Like,
So she is moved at 6 months. You fought for 5 years. She's 9 now. What is your relationship with her like now?
My relationship with her is through God. Because it can't be physical right now. My relationship is everything that I'm doing right now. My personal life is for when she comes back around, because what's happened has happened. Whether it was their fault, I helped them, my fault, whoever damn fault it was, it's happened.
It's and she's been done. Adopted. And you got 9 more years till she able to come and holler at you.
You know what?
She be 18 in 9 more years.
I was 15 when I was looking for my daddy.
You're right.
And
she gonna look for you before then when she 15, 13. I stay between 12 and 15.
Nah, yeah, 18 legally, yeah. But I know I'm so confident, man. I know my daughter.
I'm saying 18 to live with you. Yeah. Come and be like, yeah, I want to go live with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
So tell them, so we can wrap this up. Tell them, and I ain't rushing you. I'm just saying, because we covered a lot. Tell them what you have done to put yourself in a better position so that you can be ready for her when she comes.
Man, I just everything like on a spirit. Like I'm very spiritual now. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't know everything, but I'm just open to growth, like breaking generational curses. Like I cut off everybody that had something to do with abuse, that had everything that come from my bloodline. You get what I cut them off. It's just me. You feel me? Like I am the beginning of my future, of my kids. You get what I'm saying? I'm the, what they call it, the monarchy or something. I'm the beginning. And I realized that like spiritually, in order for me to break generational curses, in order for me to be the best version of myself that I could be as a mother, as a child of God, as a daughter, as a future wife, as a person, period, I have to unwire myself and rewire myself. We are who we are because of the people that taught us, and they taught us because that's all they knew. So I don't blame nobody. Like that blame game shit is gone. Like what I'm gonna do different, and that's where I'm at, like with it now. Like my life right now, my chapter is like called confusion but obedience. Like I'm confused. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this adult life, but
you trust in God.
I trust that God gonna lead me correctly because He have this far. Like do everything that and I was just talking to God in the shower the other day. Like I'm getting big on that. Like talking out loud, talking to God. Like it's me and you right here. Like I used to be real uncomfortable with it, but like the other day I was just like talking. I was like, God, I don't know what my life gonna look like, what the plans you have for my life, but I know what I want, and that's not always what you have in store. I just ask that you continue to allow me to put one foot in front of the other, because it's been plenty of times that I wanted to give up, but He ain't never showed me out to be weak. So it's like He always kept me pushing. He always kept me to like the blessings now that I have, that He's kind of like just putting upon me. Like it's not like I'm thankful for it, but now it's like I'm in a season that now that I'm getting those blessings, like okay, now allow me the strength to be able to maintain it, to be able to be humble, enough to be able to help someone else the same way that I needed help, the same way that like be strong enough to maintain all the blessings that I have to be able to bless somebody else someday,
So what because I want to go back to the eye situation a little bit. So did they make sure you had the proper treatment once you got into foster care with your eye?
Oh yeah. I don't think they played about that.
Good.
They ain't played about that for real. I think that was the probably the main thing where it was like, yeah, they was on it. Like If it was nothing else, they took me to the doctor for that.
And the last question that I have for you is, with everything that you've been through and everything that you went through in the foster care system, did they prepare you in any way,
No.
shape, or form for what you were going to go through
Absolutely
when you aged out?
Absolutely not. And that's why I say, man, I wouldn't think to call CPS on nobody, because like that's a hard battle that I would have to, because man, I already didn't have foundation.
So they just sent you out in the world like they do the inmates when they let them out of prison.
So this the thing. So this how it was. So when they knew that I was going to sign myself out when I turned 18, because I was very open about that. That's why I didn't want to be adopted. Like, I was very open about that from before I even got pregnant. And I was a money game with them. So once I got pregnant, it was like that. Like, how to explain it? Like, so I lost my train of thought.
Well, we covered a lot, so maybe I'll bring you back to let you cover like what your life is like now.
What you just asked me though?
I said, what you made me forget what I asked you. I asked you, did they prepare you for life after foster care, or did they just feed you to the wolves or to the world? They fed you to the world.
Yeah, because one of the things that would have had me keeping Chantel is if I stayed and let them put me once I was 18. Like that last family meeting that I had that was getting Chantel taken, they were like basically saying that if you can be in this program that lasts after you turn 18, until after you turn 18, and then you have to work your way out of it with your child, then you can stay in foster care. They were dressing it up because they didn't want to say like, oh, you could keep your child, but they didn't want me to know that they was taking her at that moment. So they was like, yeah, pushing that on me. I'm like, I'm not raising my child in a residential way. Y'all done raised me majority of my life. I'm not putting my child in that environment. I could do this on my own. Mind you, her grandmother, which is his mom, was in on that call and everything. Like, it was like, look.
So they wanted you to put in your mind, they wanted you to put your child. I'm going to tell you why I said in your mind. In your mind, they wanted you to put your child through exactly what you had been through. But in their mind, what you've been through wasn't as bad. You made it the way it was.
Yeah.
Because they really believe that their system works.
Yeah, in their mind, no, I'm going to tell you what it was. In their mind, it was, you can keep your child if you stay in this system and we have guardianship over you and we could have a little bit more coverage over you to give us more time to do what we need to do behind the scenes. Or if you sign yourself out then and you don't want to do this, then it is what it is.
Because you felt like they were going to take her regardless.
They knew what they were going to do. They knew what they were going to do when I was pregnant. I will always believe that. I have proof that they did. Like, I have proof that they did. They knew. And I'm not the only one. I got foster parents and people that stood on the stand within those 5 years against those people. It was like, you get what I'm saying?
Because fighting the system is a big thing.
Yeah, especially when it's against wealth. Like, that's when I was never going to win that case, because it was going to be me, my background, where I come from against.
So you just moved back to Texas.
Money. Mm-hmm.
You just moved back. You just got your first apartment?
No, like my second.
Your second apartment. But your first apartment in how long?
5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have everything that you need in your apartment?
Everything that I need, yeah.
Everything. So you got your furniture, your TV, you just have everything that you want, or you have everything that you need?
I got everything that I need. I don't got everything that I want.
I like that.
Yeah.
You switched it up and that makes better sense. You have everything you need, but not everything that you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm gonna give you the opportunity to give my followers your Cash App in case they want to bless you. Because I know I have blessed you, and I'm not gonna tell
Yeah.
them what I done or none of that, because that's not their business. That's
Right.
between me, you, and God.
Mhm.
But I want to give them an opportunity, because I know I have a lot of people on here that just would love to support you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. My Cash App is. Yeah, look at it. You want me to say it, or you want to?
You can say it.
It's gonna be $ Lady Juice, but it's gonna be.
Let me see.
Yeah.
So it's $LadyJuiceEE. So lady with 2 Y's and then juicy with 3 E's.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Aaliyah, for getting up here. And it takes a lot of courage to tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have heard your story, but I just wanted you to have the opportunity to tell the world your story, because believe it or not, it's somebody that's going through exactly what you're going through right now. It's somebody pregnant, this in foster care. Somebody that and I wanted them to have the opportunity to see that it is life after foster care.
And that's
you
why I'm so
gotta just keep your head up.
Right. And that's why I'm so open, because like you said, you never know. Like I told you, like I'm always open. I want to write a book. Stay tuned. If y'all remember me, I'm coming out with a book and everything. It's gonna take some time now, but I'm so open with telling my story, because I saved my first life telling my story when I was 11 years old in residential. My second one in the same residential the next year, and she was older than me. So I'm big. Like, people are always like, oh, you don't tell people what you went through. They're gonna do that anyway. They'll do that. That's just where your discernment got to come in on who you have around you. But you never know who fighting and who just. You got people silent. Fighting silent battles, and they just smile. I'm the type of person, I smile in your face and cry behind them closed doors, and you never know it. And I done walked up on people where I could just feel that energy, and they'll never say it. And sometimes it's just a hug. Something as simple as a hug. You get what I'm saying? Something as simple as I see you, or I feel you. You get what I'm saying? You never know.
Because you never know what somebody is dealing with, and they're not alone. So everybody, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank y'all for spending this hour and 30 minutes with me.
Thank you.
And Aaliyah. And you all have an awesome, amazing rest of your day. And let me just tell you something really quickly. You never know what somebody else is going through. So hold your tongue for 5 minutes, because we don't know how deep somebody else's pain is resonating with them. And we want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. Y'all have a blessed day.
Have a blessed one. That was good.